Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, this is an interesting turn of events. Now, we all know Doomcock has been out there saying that the new Indiana Jones film, Indiana Jones 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny or whatever, is going to be a disaster, that they were using time travel to erase Indiana Jones, that they were going back into the past and that young Indiana Jones would die and Phoebe Waller-Bridge would take over his role and replace him throughout history, and there'd be a montage at the end showing her doing all the things that he did in the films. So not just taking over from him after he dies at the end of the film, maybe, which is what I assume would happen, but actually taking over from him in the past and replacing him through history and erasing him. I never believed for a second that was going to happen. And the director, James Mangold, or whatever his name is, has said that doesn't happen, never happened, was never written, was never even thought of or spoken of, that it's just made up. Now, I fully believe that Doomcock had just made up this paper tiger to slay just so he could feel important, because a lot of his videos are all about positioning himself as some sort of authority and some sort of freedom fighter for, you know, the nerd masses, and that if it weren't for him, you know, that basically it's fairly simple. You create a rumor that scares the hell out of everyone, then you suggest that the people are in charge of heard because you're such an influence, and then they changed it. And that's why it wasn't in the film, because he fixed it by exposing it, and you have to listen to him so he can expose everything, and you have to listen to him or you won't, that whole little scam, that little grift. I thought he's totally doing that. And then we have this John Williams, who apparently Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I keep wanting to call it Indiana Jones 5 and the Dial of Destiny, but I don't think any of the Indiana Jones films had numbers in front of them. So it's either Indiana Jones 5 or Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, whatever. But I hope that's the title. I'm probably saying it wrong. He's doing the music, and he was doing a concert, because apparently he does random concerts here and there of his music, which I'd heard of occasionally with films, but he seems to do them fairly regularly. But he said in a concert on December 12, which was yesterday for America and the other day in Australia, he actually said, that they're shooting another ending. They had another ending to shoot and record in a few weeks. So he's redoing the music because they don't just, use his canned music. He actually scores to each scene. You don't they wouldn't reuse music that he already recorded for the film for a new ending. He would come in and so he would know if they needed music for a new ending that was being filmed. So it seems like they're doing a new ending, which would suggest there was an ending that people weren't happy with, which would suggest that maybe some of this was true. Although, at the same time, Doomcock might have been just taking a bit of a shot at it, because they often do reshoots, and they often reshoot parts for films, and films, usually that's why the scoring is done last, I think, because they need the film to be really finished, because you can't edit once it's sort of been scored. So now this may have just happened organically. It may have had nothing to do with any of Doomcock rumours or any of the other rumours, because he doesn't always start them. He usually is just the biggest voice and then takes credit for them in a few cases. We've seen that. Mr. H actually called that out, which I was quite shocked. And he's had a few shady digs at Doomcock along the way, which I heard another one the other day. I'm like, this is a thing. I'm not imagining it. This is a thing. And that, I don't know if that's just a thing between Mr. H and Doomcock, or if he's just the one sort of showing that Doomcock is sort of on the outside of the fandom menace sort of people now. I haven't kept up with the politics there, but I know they've had their sacrificial lambs, and they're sort of, that's a whole nother video, and I've got 2 of them on my channel about it. But so it looks like they're doing a new ending. John Williams is doing music for it. So whether that was something that happened organically and it's just a small alteration, or whether they are totally changing the direction of the film. Doomcock is trying to take credit and saying there is no time travel. They're all going to just reframe those time travel scenes and make them just in the past and be flashbacks. So he's just saying what happened before. That could work if she goes back in the past and is just doing stuff with young Indy. But if old Indy's there as well, that's not going to work. That's not going to be easy to reshoot. Doomcock was suggesting they could just change a couple little things and reframe those scenes. I'm like, not if old Indy's there with young Indy. They can't. No, that time travel, you can't wind back the time travel clock if they've got that sort of scenario happening. But if she just goes back in the past and is hanging out with young Indy and old Indy isn't there, maybe he's only there for a few scenes because effects-wise it would cost money, they maybe could reshoot a few scenes and remove time travel from the film, but only if it was only used in a couple of scenes, or old Indy was only in a few scenes with young Indy. But chances are they're just tweaking things, or maybe just doing a new ending, whether that's because of this or because it's sometimes reshoots happen all the time in these big films, so it's hard to tell. But it does give some credit to perhaps, that some of this stuff that was reported and cried about was actually happening. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I think it's all very interesting and surprising. I wasn't expecting to hear anything from the production side about this.